morning. I'm the Reverend Rachael Hayes, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old, in the Zoom and in the sanctuary. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. Today, we're receiving a special sermon from the Pacific Western Region staff of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We will also have a time of spoken joys and sorrows today. We will not have a story for all ages. While I love having children of every age as part of our sanctuary congregation, at any time, our Director of Religious Education, Andrew, and preschool teacher, JC, are already downstairs with their classes. You may notice that I take my mask off to speak and then put it back on again to sing. Any of our worship leaders who unmask have taken a COVID test this morning, and since the risk levels are rising in the counties all around us, it feels like a good time to restate that. Our congregation has made the choice to prioritize the vulnerable rather than the comfortable with our masking policy. It's part of how we take care of one another. We hear a call to show up in community, to be known as ourselves, to receive the gifts that others offer, to believe in a better world. We hear the call and think, oh, you mean me? You mean me specifically, since no one else seems to answer. And we show up, even though it's scary and anything can happen. We show up to be present to one another, to whatever happens next, to the sadness and the joy and the beauty and the love. We hear a call and we show up. Come, let us worship. We light this flame to invite a world of peace, where we heal the wounds, where we share what we have with one another, where justice is another word for relationship, and we listen for what love has to say. I invite you to rise in body and spirit to sing our first hymn, Come Sing a Song With Me, which if you're at home and you have your hymnal, it is 346. If you are in the sanctuary, it is on your song sheet and on the screen.
That I might know. reading for today is Gate A4 by Naomi Shihab Nye. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing. Help, said the flight agent. Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late and she did this. I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. شداوة شبتك حبيبتي؟ استنى شوي من فضلك. شو بتسوي? The minute she heard words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment the next day. I said, no, we're fine. You'll get there. Just later. Who is picking you up? Let's call him. We called her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and ride next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found, of course, that they shared 10 friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up to 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling of her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mahmoul cookies, little powdered sugar, crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo. We were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free apple juice from huge coolers, and two little girls from our flight ran around serving it, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. By now, we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green, furry leaves, such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around the gate of late and weary ones and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Hmm. Amin.
I've spent a lot of time in airports during my ministry career. As Pacific Western Region field staff, my work has taken me from my home in Oregon to congregations in California, Utah, Montana, just to name a few. Early in my career, I served as developmental outreach minister to Alaska, and I would fly north on a regular basis. I have to admit, I got to kind of like my time in airports. I developed a system for being comfortable while traveling, and airports are a great place to people watch. What I notice in airports is both the variety and the sameness among people. I remember seeing a group of quiet nuns dressed in the garb of Mother Teresa's order in Calcutta coming through San Francisco. They were looking at the map, trying to figure out where to go next, the same map that I had looked at to find my gate that morning. I remember waiting for a flight to Orange County, where I believe I was the only person getting on that plane that was not going to Disneyland. Such a happy and boisterous crowd. The joy was infectious. I've seen people with faces puffy from crying, talking on their cell phones with family, making unexpected funeral plans. There was the time I was the one crying in the airport, trying to get to my daughter who went into early labor with her first child, the gate agents trying to get me on a sooner flight. Yes, airports are filled with the richness of human experience, a mass of humanity. Many are tired, some are frightened or excited or filled with anticipation. For all but the most constant travelers, it's people having a day that's outside of their usual routine. One memory that makes me smile is a young German family in the food court. They had an adorable little girl who looked to be about 2 years old, and they were trying to get her to cooperate with moving on, like putting on a sweater or something like that. And there was squirming and fussing, and all the little girl kept saying was, "Nine, nine, nine!" in that voice that 2-year-olds call on when whining no to their parents. Had to force myself not to laugh out loud in parental solidarity. 2-year-olds sound the same in German as they do in English. It made me wonder if I'd walked through the international terminal, if I would have seen and heard fussing toddlers saying, "Yeah, niet, 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 nein," when they were tired from traveling, in unfamiliar surroundings, maybe off their nap schedule from a long flight. Toddlers, in my experience, are very honest little people, and not ones to mask their feelings when under stress. Now, I'm not saying all people in the world are just the same. We have different cultures, different life experiences. Our joys and challenges can be remarkably varied. Some families are in the airport because they're visiting loved ones for a wonderful holiday celebration. Some are leaving an untenable situation in their homeland. But the voice of a fussy 2-year-old, sounding so familiar but in another language, it helped me feel connected to this family from another continent. I heard at that moment that this little girl felt the same need for autonomy as so many of her peers that I've met. I felt a deep connection with this family that I had never before seen, and that connection, I can't help believe, is a good thing.
The cookies, the apple juice, the smiles, the delight. It all started with an invitation. Over the PA system in the airport, an invitation to be a translator, an invitation to be present to someone in distress. Naomi Shihab Nye's narrator accepts that invitation, and over the next couple of hours, magic emerges. Not just magic between the narrator and the Palestinian woman, but magic between so many strangers. Smiling, connecting, receiving and giving food and laughter and sparks of joy. Over and over, life invites us to answer a call. Sometimes the call is subtle, like a whisper or a quiet glance. Sometimes it is mundane, like an airport announcement over the PA. Over and over. Life invites us to make a connection with a person, with a group of people, with an animal, with a place. And as we move toward them and make a connection, we can't know exactly what will emerge. Perhaps it will be just a quick perfunctory interaction and we'll be on our way. Or perhaps there will be cookies and laughter and so much more. Perhaps it will even change the world. The contemporary author and activist Adrienne Marie Brown invites us to get strategic about how we say yes to those invitations that life sends our way, how we move in relational ways so that magic can emerge. Adrienne's 2017 book, Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds, invites us to form and reform community with an openness to the grace and the magic that can't be planned for. That's emergence. Emergence, she writes, is beyond what the sum of its parts could ever imagine. She continues with a metaphor from nature. Oak trees don't set an intention to listen to each other better or agree to hold tight to each other when the next storm comes. No, under the earth, always they reach for each other. They grow such that their roots are intertwined and they create a system of strength that is as resilient on a sunny day as it is in a hurricane. We are invited, she continues, we are invited to be that prolific and to return fertility to the soil around us. And what emerges from these cycles are complex organisms, systems, movements, societies. Nothing is wasted or a failure. Emergence is a system that makes use of everything. Adrienne Marie Brown's own leadership emerges from the intersections of all the communities she's in authentic relationship with: queer, Black, and BIPOC folk, scientists and science fiction fans, social change organizers and restorative justice practitioners, and more. She sees emergence happening in all of it. It's the way that complex systems and patterns arise out of a multiplicity of relatively simple interactions, she says. Like the powdered sugar smiles, the storytelling, the joy that spread in the airport that day. I invite us to think of those oak trees. Under the earth, they reach for each other. They grow such that their roots are entwined. How are we reaching for each other in this congregation? How are we reaching for each other in the United States as politicians sow cruelty and division? How are we reaching out and building connections instead? How are we reaching for each other beyond our border and across the world? What sort of things might emerge if we but built the relationships or the connections? The connecting is spiritual work, waking up to the ancestry DNA results that just came in for all of us, that we are each of us deeply interdependent, deeply indebted to all people and all life. Realizing that we are related to and in relationship with everyone and everything. Feeling awe and wonder and love. Love for this tremendous experience of life we share. Love for one another. Love for those who are different from us. Love for the creatures, the microorganisms, the earth, resisting with all our might the forces that tell us that we are separate, that they are other. The invitation to relationship is always calling us in different and surprising ways. And together, how might we listen and discover and bring into being something better and more beautiful than we alone could ever have imagined? Let's make it so. Amen.
In this season, we cross thresholds from one year into the next, from one season to the next, out of some doorways and into others, across state lines, highways, byways, and skyways. We are moving through. From delight to pain to laughter to tears, from emptiness to fullness, to loss to discovery, we are crossing over. In this season, we become thresholds. You see, the spirit of compassion is looking for an entry point. The spirit of generosity is looking for a way in. The spirit of patience is looking for a place to land. The spirit of love is looking for a crack in the heart. At the same time, fear is on the same quest for belonging. Selfishness wants to stretch out. Anger and outrage are looking for safe harbor. Hatred is wondering if there's room in the inn. What are we making room for as we cross all these thresholds? As we take off, literally and figuratively, what are we taking with us? Not everything we carry with us can make it onto the flight. Think of your mind as an overhead compartment. You know there are some bags and suitcases you can't bring with you onto the flight. They won't fit into the overhead. You have to check them at the gate. With all our comings and goings this holiday season, maybe we can lighten our loads and make more room in our overhead compartments. Perhaps we only need to carry what's necessary. That would be the things that are essential to our love and care for ourselves and for the people in our lives. We probably need some forgiveness in our overhead, some realistic expectations in our overhead, some gratitude in our overhead. As for the persistent complaints, the hostility, the petty annoyances, we can check those at the gate. They can be tucked out of sight. In the realm of our spiritual lives, these are beliefs and behaviors we can choose not to access. We can pick them up later if we want to, but we could also leave them to spin round and around unclaimed at the baggage carousel. As our transcendentalist forebear Ralph Waldo Emerson reminds us, within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our intellect, it is silence. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love. I pray that throughout these weeks and in the year that lies ahead, you will be a space, a threshold for the oversoul to reveal itself. The oversoul gives you the wisdom to know what to say and when to say it at those family gatherings. Through the oversoul, you already have the capacity to align your deepest values with your actions. Because of the oversoul, you know what the truth of love is in each situation you encounter. Take heart and be encouraged. The unpredictable and impermanent nature of life itself has risen high in our consciousness and in our world. Yet we are not alone. We have each other, and we have the love that is large enough to hold each and every one of us, now and in all the days to come.
Please join me in a moment of meditation. Feel the ground underneath you. Perhaps in your feet, perhaps in your backside, wherever you touch the earth. Feel your lungs taking in air and letting it go. As your body shows up to this moment over and over. Spirit of life, love, and connection, whom some know as God, some know as love, and some know as the sweetness inside the silence. We have come from the many places of our lives to show up to one another. May every hurt be healed. May every sorrow be met with care. May we know that each of us is loved and called to share that love with the world. Blessed be. Amen. Please remain seated to sing Spirit of Life. Each week, we join together in a practice of building a better world in community. We collect an offering and we split it with an outside organization to help us remember that we can't make the world a better place on our own. Half of the money supports the work and witness of our congregation. The other half of the money collected today will support the Amherst Survival Center. The Survival Center is one of the ways people in this area look out for our neighbors, to ensure that our neighbors have enough food to eat and social supports for people experiencing hardship. It's one of the ways we get a little closer to beloved community. We are honored to share December's offerings with the Amherst Survival Center. Please give generously today in the basket, by text, by check, or through our website.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blowing his horn. Already I'm so lonesome, I could die. Kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. There's so many times I've let you down. So many times I've played around. I tell you now, they don't mean a thing. They don't mean a thing. Every place I go, I'll think of you. Every song I sing, I'll sing for you. When I come back, I'll bring your wedding ring. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. Now the time has come to leave you. One more time, let me kiss you, then close your eyes. I'll be on my way. Dream about the days to come when I won't have to leave alone. About the times I won't have to say. Kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go, but I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
That was beautiful. Can we give them a hand? Woo, chills. Okay, the time has come to extinguish our chalice and Can you put the words up? And maybe you all want to say it with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. The beloved community is coming. Every day, in each hand we reach out, every story held, each person fed, each time love wins and justice prevails. May we be part of its unfolding. Go in peace. Great service.